But on moving on to 22, don't force the feminine to make decisions. A man abandons responsibility by expecting that his woman will always make her own decisions and then be accountable for their results. And that's on page 77. When faced with the option of giving your opinion, say a dress or an outfit, what would be your typical reaction?
Fucking hell.
Are you funny? Go on, Mason, you go first.
No, you go first.
All right, cool. No, I like to be honest, although it's like honest with a pinch of I don't even know the word. Say that again.
The pinch of paprika, boy. You know.
Yeah, no, there's a bit of honesty. Yeah, I've got a bit of honesty because I'm not being funny. Yeah, there's a bit of honesty. It's stupid. Put my foot in it. No, there's honesty. I lead with honesty.
What do you mean you lead with honesty, then end up with what? A lie?
No, a lie. No.
Oh, you're straight lying to them. So you're basically saying that you would actually say that the dress is nice, even though it's not.
No. I lead with honesty in that. No, what I do, I lead with honesty, but obviously I make sure I dress up my words in that. You can't have like just say the dress or the trainers or the jeans or what have you is not to your liking, and you allow her to step out in that. Man, that's crazy.
Oh, would you?
No, I'm telling you.
No, I'm saying, would you spare her feelings by not saying something?
It depends. The reason why I say depends, and that I don't know. I came up with a silly scenario really as to whether they were her best garms or something. But I mean, like, no. Do I spare? I think it's dependent, situation dependent. I know there's not too much leeway in regards to the situation, but
there's not. So,
all right, tell me, give me a scenario as to what is it.
All right, so you're about to go out, you and your missus. She's stepped out and she's put on a certain dress.
So where are we going?
You're going to another friend's social gathering, barbecue, whatever. You step out, she's put something on, and she asks you, what do you think of the dress? You think the dress is dead, like you don't like it. It's just, it doesn't look good, but she's adamant that it's the new thing she just bought and she want to wear it. So where do you stand? Do you say, yeah,
I'll be honest.
Do you give her your honest opinion, or do you butter it up and say, yeah, it looks nice?
I mean, yeah, I think I'll be honest actually in that I don't like the dress, but I mean, I think if she feels comfortable and she feels good, let's roll.
Even if you don't like the dress, like you don't like it, you wouldn't want to be seen out with someone in this particular dress.
Was she wearing a black bag or something? But I mean,
what? Why do we get there?
No, as to the type of dress she's wearing. I mean, as to the type of dress she's wearing.
It's just a dress you just don't like, bro. It could be, I don't know, man. Think of a dress that you don't like.
No, yeah, I think that's my.
Like every dress. You like every dress.
No, what I'm saying is, I think I would be honest in that I don't like the dress. But I mean, if she feels comfortable with what she's wearing and she likes what she's wearing, I guess that's the most important thing.
Okay, cool. Mace?
You know what? I'm cracking up because, well, Pockers, I lead with honesty anyway. That needs to be a slogan on a t-shirt somewhere, but I'm cracking up because I got about three things. I got more than three things to say, but one of the things is, see, when it comes to that question, yeah, the amount of sugarcoating on my words, the amount of word and spell check and cinnamon I have to, bro, it's not easy enough because I'm trying to use this as a computer, bro. All right, I'll give you one example. This was time ago, years ago. And looking back, I was very cruel and very harsh. And I think I was quite, maybe a little bit shallow back then. Maybe back then, the way I and my partner presented themselves was more important to how I wanted the external world to see us. Whereas now I don't care because I wear the most beat up Asics if I go out on the road to the shop now. I would never have done that 15 years ago. No way. So it doesn't bother me anymore. Like other opinions and stuff, I don't care about any of that, yeah? I've got bigger other things to worry about. But back then, man was like, between 18 and 21. I can't remember the age, but I remember. So I've gone to pick up my missus at the time now, rushing late. You know, black man's always late. Black people always late. Anyway, so I've gone to pick up my missus now, and I've just rang and said, "Yo, I'm outside." I was rushing because I was going to my brethren's dinner in like somewhere like Chelsea or one of them places. Yeah. So I've rang and I said, "I'm outside. Come out in it." Mrs. come outside now, jumped in. I've looked at her and I said, "Nah, that ain't running." I said, "Go." I said, "Go and get changed."
That is crazy.
Yeah, I said, "Go and get changed." I was like, "Nah, I don't." I said, "Why are you wearing that?" It was something new I'd never seen before. And I must have proper beat up her character when I said that, because obviously she spent her time getting ready. Come to get it, and I've just looked. I said, "Nah." It just weren't for me. It weren't appropriate for the occasion. It was too flamboyant. We were going to a dinner, and it just looked like a dress that is going like. And then I had to put it like to some salsa rave or something. I don't know. It just looked like it didn't like a dinner dress, like something to wear to dinner. It was too exotic in my eyes. In my eyes, you know what I'm saying? So that was one. That's one scenario. But as I've got older and a bit more wiser, I've realized that because you get that question often, like in terms of, what do you think of this, or should I wear this, or something like that. And certain times, like, you know what's mad? Because you learn from experience. If you say no, the next, bro, you're getting showered down with questions. Why you don't like it? What does you trying to say? Look fat? Like you get one set of questions. Choosy with your words, bro. Like it's almost like, do you like this one? Be like, yeah, I do. But you know what? That one over there that I saw you that you wore about 2 months ago, with especially if you're wearing those shoes, I think that goes better. You gotta word it like that, bro. I'm telling you, that's how you gotta do it. Don't almost like deflect. If you're not feeling what the person's wearing, just deflect a bit. But at the same time, French, you asked the secondary question to Pox. If my missus said, "Do you know what? This is what I want to wear. I feel so comfortable in this." Do you know what? I'm gonna let her run with it. Do you know why? Because now obviously I've been out where like my partner's worn something, and throughout the night it's just been on their mind. Do you get what I'm saying? That they don't feel 100%, and that's probably a worse feeling than me not liking the dress they wear, if that makes sense for them. Because you want your past person, if you're rolling out, you want them to feel comfortable and happy, and they can obviously, if you feel comfortable with what you're wearing, you're gonna be more comfortable within yourself, and when you're having conversation and moving around and stuff. So I think now the age I'm at, I offer my opinion. I can't be harsh with it and just be like, "Right, that dress is dead. Oh, I don't like it." I wouldn't do that. But at the same time, because sometimes they might put on a dress and love it, and actually they just want that to be reflected. They know the answer they're looking for, if that makes sense. Whereas other times, actually, they actually do want an opinion, but they don't want the real, true, free word opinion. You got to dress it up nicely, sugarcoat it, with some coleslaw on the side and all that, bro. Trust me. Trust me, boy. Trust me, you're always onto a lose-lose though. As soon as you get asked, "What do you think of this?" Trust me, boy. You better get your
I think my
synonyms out.
experience, just being honest about it, but then also, as you said, Mace, rightly, is have other suggestions. So if you don't like a particular drop, you may say, that doesn't really go, but if you put this with that, then do you know what I mean?
No, I think we've all been. I mean, might be a little bit different for women, but I mean, I think we've all been there as to, I don't know, wanting someone's opinion. But I mean, yeah.
Yeah, do you know what? Because the older I get, or even I'm trying to think, did I really seek out? I might have seeked out a little bit of opinion, but the older I get, I'm just slapping on. I never ask, "Right, do you think this looks nice or what?" I'm just rolling. I'm just putting on something and saying, "Do you know what? I'm happy with this. I don't need."
Validation.
Yeah.
No, it's not even validation about the external. I was more thinking about just your personal opinion, just between you and your missus. If you rolled up in something that she thought wasn't like up to par as far as how you could dress, would you want her to be honest with you, or would you want her to kind of just be like, whatever you feel, you wear it, you feel comfortable, like let's roll?
I'm happy. I can take that. I'm happy for you to say that looks. I've been told, "Oh, I hate that," and I'm still in it anyway, or I'm be like, you know what, I don't mind because I like it. It doesn't, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't dent me, those comments that make.
I've worn many a thing that people find questionable. I'm not really worried what others got to say. You know what I mean? As long as I feel comfortable, then that's all that matters, truth be told.
Before we round up on that part, as a practice, always help your woman make decisions by giving her perspective and telling her your choices, while letting her know that you'll love her regardless of the decision she makes. And that's on page 79. Moving on to part 3. Working with polarity and energy. There's a couple parts. There's a chapter that I'm going to skip, but if you guys want to mention it now. Otherwise, I'm going to part 24.
Yeah.
Cool. So we're jumping over. Your attraction to the feminine is inevitable. So 24 is choose a woman who is your complementary opposite. Right, for instance, a more masculine man can expect that any woman who really turns him on and enlivens him will also be relatively wild, undisciplined, bonkers, chaotic, prone to changing their mind and lying. Still, from an energetic perspective, this kind of woman would be much more healing and inspiring to him than a more balanced or neutral woman is steady, reasonable, trustworthy, and able to say what she means in a way he can understand. And that's on page 86. I think there was a couple questions after. So, when I first read that, I noted down that I understood the premise and the logic of this perspective, but can the energy being used to face these challenges be directed to a more beneficial way of existence? And does this relate to attachment styles? As the balanced person is secure, whereas the opposite would be anxious, would there not be an argument to suggest either may have benefits for you?
As to your opposite, or you mean someone who may even be very similar to you? I mean, I guess your question is as to both.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, it was a more just a question in thought, so to speak.
Choose a woman who is your complementary opposite. There's arguments for both, really. I mean, yeah, there's arguments for both. I don't know what more to add to that, if I'm honest. I think it will be not necessarily short-sighted. That might be the wrong word and maybe a little bit strong, but to kind of like pigeonhole what should be your type based on who you are, if that makes any sense. I've met people who are a little bit different to myself, but at the same, I don't know. You share things which are common goals, dare I say. You know, I mean, you have things in common. I mean, which are not necessarily polar opposites, if that makes any sense. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're opposite, but I like to believe there's some form of not common. I don't know. There's things that you share by way of characteristics and behavior. Just my opinion.
Add to that, cool.
Not really. I just see what he's getting at with complementary opposite, because if you're someone who's quite reserved, quite structured, and you find someone who's a bit more fun, a bit more wild, I can see what he's trying to say. Like, they'll almost bring out that side of you of enjoying life. I don't know. I see what he's getting at, but yeah, it's a bit too much of a broad analysis for my liking without enough substance there.
Cool. Before we move on, I'll read the last part. You will only be happy in intimacy if you choose a woman who is your sexual reciprocal as a partner, and you will only be able to survive such an intimacy if her dark and light sides are equally embraceable to you. It takes time to develop such a skill and strength, but in doing so, you can learn to provide your women, as well as the world, with a man whose gifts are uncompromised by fear or feminine power and chaos. And that's on page 91. Moving on to 25, what is important in your woman? If you want your woman to be your spiritual and sexual consort, not just your housemate, you must skillfully maintain your household and livelihoods so that the potency of your union is not diminished. She can be the mother of your children as well as your business partner. Would you consider separate bedrooms when living with a partner?
Absolutely no way. What am I doing that for? What we 7 bedrooms?
I think you've jumped the gun, P.
Okay, go on. Okay, why have I jumped the gun?
I only say that because we're still relatively young men. We haven't been in like, 20-year marriages or relationships. And like, the reason I say you jumped the gun is because that's all I knew of my dad's side, my grandparents. They had separate bedrooms. My gran and granddad from my dad's side. They probably got to an age where actually bro, sleeping in the bed with someone every night, they wake up, go toilet, all these kind of things. It can disrupt your sleep and stuff like that, bro. Sweat, it's hot in the bed sometimes. You know what I mean? So I'm not surprised that maybe certain age people, we're in this for life. Actually, I just like my own space when it comes to night. Sometimes I might sneak in for a quickie or whatever, but you know what I mean? Like maybe I just want my own space. I don't think it's not normal, especially in a Caribbean household anyway, older Caribbean household. So people, if they've got the space to have separate bedrooms, and I don't. It was never not normal when I went to my grandparents that I had separate bedrooms. It wasn't. I never questioned it. I never said, why do you look? It just was maybe because that's all I knew, but that's what I remember. It wasn't not normal, if that makes sense. I wouldn't be surprised if I've never asked other people, do your parents sleep in separate bedrooms? But I can imagine that they do. And it's not a shock, if that makes sense to me.
No, it's definitely not a shock to me. What I was going to say actually, when you mentioned your grandparents, was one thing you mentioned obviously in discussing your grandparents is age. So it might depend on obviously how old you are, and obviously how long you've been in a relationship or been married, as to you actually making a decision. But it's something which is, let's say, relatively new, and let's say 5 years into your marriage. Am I thinking of having like separate bedrooms or sleeping in different bedrooms? Nah, in fact, the first thing I was gonna say is what are we bedrooms or something? But I mean, like, the answer, yeah, for me, it's relative. Really, it depends on your situation. So maybe I did jump the gun, but if I don't want to say youthful, but I mean we're quite new into our relationship or new into our marriage, then nah, I'm definitely not. It's not something I want to do anyway.
No, Pox, there's some people that they're together, but they even prefer. They might have met when they both had individual properties themselves. Like they have both lived in their own individual, and actually neither wants to give up their.
That was gonna be my next question. Still,
yeah, and they're still having a faithful, I mean, per se, consensual and faithful relationship.
Well, so they're married and living in 2 different properties.
It's not about married, but together.
I'm not doing that. Married in 2 different. No, I'm not doing that anyway.
Why would you be against it?
I think there's I'm gonna use the word even if it's a little bit controversial. I just think there's a little bit of although there's a mutual understanding there, I think there's also a bit of a disconnect there in some way, shape, or form. It's not something that I would be keen on doing in any way, shape, or form.
Cool.
Married in 2 different houses. Actually, it's funny to me.
Anything else anyone want to add?
No.
No?
No.
26. You will often want more than one woman. The fact is, you probably want to have sex with other women besides your intimate partner. How you respond to this fact is a reflection of your purpose in life. And that's on page 97. No questions for that one.
Yeah. Do you know, actually, the chapter that we went over, I thought was a bit mad. I don't want to say it was a bit mad because then I have to justify obviously why I was a bit mad. But it was talking about, I think, sexual energies, and I forget the name of the chapter. I'm going to see if I can quickly get to it. I think it was talking about essentially of not trying to dim. No, it's pointless me trying to find it. But as to that comment or to that statement, yeah, I think it's inevitable you're going to be attracted to other women. It's about how you manage to control yourself and be respectful, truth be told.
Yeah.
But that speaks to the chapter you skipped over. I think it spoke about sexual energy and not trying to, in some way or essence, try to compromise your will or your want to see or be with other women. But it came across in my eyes, obviously a bit aggressive, really. And I think the words that kind of, the things that kind of crossed my mind was, that's half the problem. I think a lot of men lack control. Like, it's impossible to sleep with every single woman that you find attractive. Not to say that was what he was saying, but he was talking about, I think, essentially not trying to compromise how you feel as to the opposite sex or someone you're attracted to, or the many individuals that you find attractive, because during the course of a day, you're going to come across so many different types of people that you find attractive, and it's impossible to almost act out, I mean, your thoughts and your feelings, and even communicate those feelings as to, I don't know, wanting to be with it. I'm now beginning to kind of like talk a bit of rubbish, really. But I just think
I say it all the time. Like, see, like, does anyone truly believe that the one person they're with is the only person they're ever gonna, in the billions of people, the only person they find that they're gonna find physically and maybe even mentally stimulating and attractive on earth? No way, man. There's billions of people out here, man. It's just about, like, as you said, P, controlling yourself. You're gonna see people and say that's an attractive person. They look attractive, either physically or even sometimes not physically, just mentally stimulating. Wow, that person blows my mind. They're attractive. But I often say it to like certain like friends and that. I say, yo, if you know, like, not that you're weak or not weak, but just if you know you're the type that, like, once you had a few drinks, you know your guard lowers a bit, and actually a kind of situation can arise. Just don't put if you know this, don't put yourself in these situations, or try not to. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's just little things like that, like controlling yourself and just realizing, do you know what? Like, let me take myself out of the situation, or let me not try to put myself in these situations. I know when I go out with 3-4 guys, sorry, when I go out with the guys, and we have a few drinks, then, you know, I'm like, my guard lowers, whatever. Actually, let me go out, let me be the driver. Then I can't have 3-4, just little things like that. It's about, like, trying to not put yourself in certain situations as much as possible, if you know that you're a bit weaker in terms of with your willpower and that.
no, I find that interesting, actually, because I think as you were speaking, it made me think of, this speaks us to some of the new type of relationships which are a bit more common, as to, it's not monogamy. Monogamy is between two people, or is that more? That's two. Obviously, now people are finding themselves in situations where they're comfortable in being in a relationship with one other person, but at the same time seeing other people or talking to other people.
As in, everyone's aware.
Yeah, both parties are aware. Both parties are aware, and they're both comfortable with the fact that we have a union together and we have an understanding, and we love each other, but we actually see other people too. I don't know if that's a lack of control, or is that, you know, if you flip that coin on its head, does that display actually, again, a great sense of control in that? I don't know. I'm not even too sure. Yeah, I'm not too sure.
Cool. I think that what you was referring to before, though, P, is on this next chapter we're going to get into. Well, I say get into. I haven't actually written anything for it or notes, just because, as we've said, some of these things are, I don't think some of the chapters, I don't feel, for me personally, was noteworthy or anything to really discuss around. But this next chapter, I think, as I said, was what you were referring to. So you may have something to add to it. So the part is 27. Young women offer a special energy. I'm sure it's what we was talking about before. Is that the same part? I'm assuming it is.
No. Oh, sorry. No, I thought you had a question.
No, I said I've got no questions for this bit, but if you
cool. No, so, like, okay, cool. Funny enough, the age which I discuss is actually here. So it says, imagine you are driving your 18-year-old babysitter home one evening. Like, these words, I'm not comfortable. She is fresh, so innocent, so alive. I just thought, what is going on here? Um, what is going on here? And I don't know why. I'm not too sure he stated his age, but I'm thinking babysitter. I don't know. Let's say you're, I don't know, 30 plus. I mean, I know these things happen, but maybe I was uncomfortable with the words. She's fresh, innocent, and alive. And
Yeah, predatory. They're predatory,
yeah,
boy.
it just I thought, what is going on here? And then it goes back to actually the chapter that you missed out. And again, obviously, I don't know. I think it was. So, do you remember the number of the chapter you missed out on French?
No, there's been a couple now.
No, I think it was 23. Your attraction to the feminine and your attraction to the feminine is inevitable.
Mm.
And I just thought that was wild. I don't want to say wild, but I just again, it spoke to a lack of control. Yeah, a lack of control. In fact, they're the words that I'm probably looking for. In you dropping off your babysitter, yes, she's pretty. You know what I mean? Yes, she's pretty. Yes, she's good looking. Bro, she's your babysitter. Leave her alone.
But he's not talking about drawing her though. That's the thing. He's not saying that he's going to draw it or he wants to draw it. He's expressing that a young person it's energy. It's a young energy, and I know how he's written it. It sounds mad, but don't take it literally. It's more the energy. It's a young energy. So a young woman is going to have a different energy to an older woman, which he speaks about in the book. He also mentions about being appreciative of an older woman's energy. So in reference to this young girl, and going back to the chapter you're referring to, is to be able to control yourself and accept that, yes, I may be turned on by this young energy, but it's just the energy. It's not the fact that she's a young girl and I wanna smash or whatever. It's just like, you know, when you can go around with kids, like you worked in schools, like a young person's energy is infectious.
I totally agree with that.
Like they're running around, they're laughing, they're joking. So you're naturally gonna feel uplifted as well. So it's that kind of energy he's referring to, not the fact that. And I know it sounds mad, like he said, like the fresh. Do you know what I mean?
There's more.
Whatever you said, but I'm not taking it as on a perverted thing. I'm more taking it as it's a young energy, and that's it.
Yeah, so I don't necessarily want. I mean, I do want. There's a part of me that wants to finish this paragraph or read that paragraph, but speaking to what you said there, I totally understand. Obviously, in working in schools, and if I'm honest, like in the field that I kind of work in or want to work in, there's no denying any way, shape, or form. Like youthful energy is vibrant, is exuberant, and I think there's more to it. I think there's better adjectives I can use, but there's no denying the energy that young people have. But as to the paragraph, so imagine you're driving your 18-year-old babysitter home one evening. She is so fresh, so innocent, so alive. You can feel that she's totally. Sorry, you can feel that she. Sorry, I got it. You can feel that she's totally open to you. You consider all the consequences. What is See, so although I agree with what you said, French, I was like, yo, he said a lot here. You look at her radiant skin, her clear eyes, her incredible smile, the way she moves, talks, laughs, and makes you happy and fills you with energy. You arrive at her home. She says goodnight, leaves the car, and enters her house. You sit in the car for a moment, breathing slowly and deeply, smiling. What are you? What? What?
It's bad. It's mad.
It sounds like Kevin Spacey was in that car. I'm not gonna lie.
What? I was like, what is going on here? There was like a couple of those chapters. I was like, what is going on here? That's when I sent the message in the group. What is going on here? But anyway, let me not continue.
Yeah, he could have left it at young women bring a certain sense of exuberance and energy to a situation.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's a bit flagrant, but I still think the message is of the one I explained before in terms of the young energy. I'm not gonna lie, it sounds mad at what he just said. It sounds a bit creepy-ish. But
he goes on, I'm not trying to dig him out. He goes on, he talks about in other cultures, this is less true etc., etc., etc. So obviously, I know he's painting pictures. So I do understand that. Maybe it was just too much for me. Maybe it was too much for me. Those the words he used. But I understand, like the point you're referencing. I totally understand. I think yes, young energy is infectious. You know what I mean? And we all strive to be younger in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, definitely. If you're looking for your inner child, your inner
Of course.